Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Within Warzone, obviously one of the most popular categories is the assault rifles. Every single year this is the case because they're versatile. They're simple, they're easy, they're versatile. You could use some for sniper support. You could use some as AR SMG style. You could use some for mid to long range. And with that today, I wanted to break down the current top 5 best assault rifles in MW3 Warzone and give you guys the best setups for them. So as we get into the details, if you enjoy the video or if you find it helpful, do me a favor, drop a like on it. It would be really appreciated. And if you're new to the channel or you simply have not subscribed yet, every single day I'm your one-stop shop for all things going on in COD, whether it is news, updates, patch notes, meta breakdowns. You'll find it all right here. So feel free to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date. So starting us off here at number 5, I've got the Holger 5.56. This is arguably one of the easiest weapons to use in the entire game. It is a low recoil laser beam, and quite frankly, its TTK is super impressive. Its first damage range is more of like a mid-tier one, but then over range you get to 40, 50, 60, 70 meters, and it's one of the more impressive rifles in the game. The only reason I have this at number 5, quite frankly, is just because the magazine capacity is not all that great. We look at the extended mag here, we've got 40 rounds max, so that is a little bit unfortunate. Its damage per mag is not going to be great, but if you are landing shots, which it doesn't take much to do, you'll be able to fry relatively easily. So on top of the 40 round mags, I've also got the Eagle Eye 2.5 times optic. This of course is my go-to for mid to long range, but if there's a different optic that you prefer more, always go for comfortability there. I've got the angled underbarrel. This actually gives me a little bit worse vertical control, but it's just so easy to use that the better horizontal and basic gun kick on top of the better stabilization that this offers as well is just so worth it in my opinion, so it makes it easier to use. I've also got the Cryo 6 match barrel, better range, better velocity, better control, better pizza, Papa John's. It's rare that we get the 3-in-1s here, so we got to take advantage of it while it's here. Then lastly, the Spirit Fire Suppressor, a very common attachment for all mid to long range guns, keeping you off the radar, giving you better control, velocity, and range here as well. So this thing, like I said, is a laser beam. If we go into the gunsmith here, you can very easily see it's just so easy to stay on target. The thing doesn't really move. Its recoil pattern, so straightforward. Now next up here, we've actually got the FR 5.56, aka the FAMAS. This thing was actually pretty heavily nerfed, so the fact that it's still a top 5 rifle here, let alone number 4, should speak to its greatness right now. This thing is a super accurate burst rifle, and especially over range, that's again where it shines. It ends up having one of the top TTKs in the category respectively, and because it's so accurate when you are bursting, that means that it's not a super difficult weapon to achieve a fast TTK with. So no, it's not as broken as it was, back on day 1, but it's still a top contender in the AR category in specific here. So again, I've got the Corio 2.5 times optic, especially for the style of player using with the FAMAS. This is perfect in my opinion. The 60 round extended mag, very basic there with the fast fire rate and the spamming here. It's always nice to have that. The Ripper underbarrel here is especially important because this is one that's helping out with idle sway, centering and recentering. So every time I burst, that recentering speed, that stabilization there is going to make it way easier to consistently hit shots on bursts back to back to back to back. So that's definitely very clutch there. I've got the long bore barrel, better range and better velocity here. And then again, I got the Spirit Fire Suppressor with the control of the velocity and the range as well. So heading in back into the firing range, again, super easy. Even the long range ones, you can see it's just so easy to stay on target. You can spam these shots back to back to back. Thing is a really fun rifle. It's nice to see the FR 5.56 actually being decent after it was so trash in Warzone 1. Hey everyone, real quick, just wanted to give a shout out to my friends over at Control Freak. Funny enough, Control Freak was actually the very first partner I ever had on my channel many years ago, and genuinely all this time later, I'm using Control Freaks every single day. These truly are one of the things that I cannot play without anymore. I'm so used to having the longer sticks on my controllers, but more importantly, the better grip as well. They offer various different designs for what you prefer in terms of your thumbstick style, whether it's domed, concave, mid-rise, high-rise, low-rise. They got plenty of different options. My current loadout for my Control Freaks consists of one Vortex Control Freak and then one of the new Destiny 2 Lightfall Control Freaks. Love the feel of these. If you ever want to get a pair for yourself, throw in code Immortal at checkout. You'll get yourself a nice little discount. Next up, we got kind of a slept on rifle in my opinion, the SVA 5.45. This thing's actually really nasty. You could use it in full auto and it's going to be a great rifle as is. If you wanted to have some fun, you could also flip this into semi-auto and use it as like a hyper burst gun, and it can be really fun to mess around with there too. So initially here, again, Spirit Fire Suppressor, no surprises there, no changes there. I've got the Precision Barrel. This again is that 3-in-1 combo control control, velocity, and range. I've got the choke angled grip here. This is another one that I do like to use because it actually helps out with movement speed relatively well. So it's nice to have better control horizontally, which is the main thing you want to focus on anyways, and some better movement. Just makes it more aggressive. Like for resurgence, this is a ton of fun, and you could even use this in regular BR. 45 round mag, 60 round extended mag, doesn't really matter there. It's all preference based. And then again, optics is all your preference as well. The ELO side here is really good, but again, 2.5 times is going to be a great choice too. If we go into the firing range actually really quick, you'll notice that in full auto, I mean, the thing is super easy to use, but then if I go into semi-auto and I shoot once, it's actually shooting twice. So you could actually spam this back to back to back. And while it is gimmicky and not really sustainable always, it's fun to mess around with for sure. So that's something I'd recommend checking out because it could fit your sort of, fun play style and be a nice change up compared to usual gameplay. Now at number 2, I've got the M13B. This is a surprisingly good MW2 gun, maybe the best MW2 gun in the game if we're being honest. Basically like second best TTK over range in the category. Very easy to use, even though it is an MW2 gun and has a little bit different behavior there. This thing is just reliable and consistent. I really like the feel of this one. So it's nice that we can use MW3 attachments on here. I got the Eagle Eye 2.5 times. The 60 round mag with that faster fire rate you definitely want to have on here. Ruin heavy support is a fantastic underbarrel, really in any cases if you're looking for control. Helps out a ton with horizontal there and makes the pattern way more predictable. Echelon barrel, that 3-in-1 combo yet again. And surprise, surprise, we've got the Spirit Fire Suppressor as well. This thing in the firing range, we'll see that even if it's an MW2 gun, it has that visual recoil and that kind of weapon shake still, but it's a laser beam. It's really easy to control. It's really easy to stay on target. Definitely a really fun and nice change of pace compared to only MW3 guns. And then lastly, coming in at number 1, I gotta go with the Ram 7. I mean, this thing just has the best TTK at all ranges in the rifle category. If you want to go for sniper support, it's going to kill the fastest there. If you wanted to build this out all for range, it's going to kill the fastest there. It's the most versatile gun in the category. It's the fastest TTK. I mean, it sort of speaks for itself there, right? This setup's a bit of a hybrid. You could use this as sniper support, even though it's also similar to what you'd build out for a mid to long range style build as well. The Eagle Eye optic kit, again, for sniper support, you may want to drop down to a slate or to a basic reflector there with the ELO sight. 60 round extended mag, fast fire rate, you're going to want to have that on there. Ruin heavy support, again, there is a decent bit of horizontal bounce on this, so this is definitely a clutch attachment there. The core mark barrel, range, velocity, and control. And then here, just because there is a little bit more noticeable recoil than on some of the other options, I go for a compensator. There's a lot of good compensators for what it's worth. Sky Fury is the one that I choose here, but if you wanted to go for some of the more basic ones, like Komodo Heavy could be a decent choice as well. That's a ton of horizontal control. Cassis Break is only horizontal, so you could mess around for sure. But either way, I mean, you just want to make sure this thing's easy to use, and if you can land your shots, it's going to be fantastic. As we can see here, recoil pretty straightforward, pretty easy to stay on target with. There is a bit of noticeable horizontal shake there, but at the same time, you get used to that pattern there. You shoot it a little bit to start the game or drop in a plunder and get used to that recoil pattern. You'll be good to go. This thing does end up killing really quick, and it's a ton of fun to use as well. So that being said, those are the top 5 best rifle setups here in Warzone right now, and that's going to wrap things up. If you enjoyed the video, do me a favor, drop a like on it, and of course, if you're new here, feel free to hit that subscribe button on your way out to stay up to date with all things going on in COD. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.